Mission accomplished.
Seat as though I was like, pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty. Like, was that okay?
But wait, there's more.
The conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title. And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Hold up.
Hold up.
There's
Stop
several
right now.
there's several conversations.
There's a
about
conversation with you
it. With Harry
about how dark your baby is going to be?
potentially and what that would mean or look like.
Oprah, they're so racist. That's not racist. Because even black people want to know how brown the baby gonna be.
That conversation I'm never going to share.
Ooh, this is uncomfortable.
We'll talk when we get home.
The mute is muted. The mic is muted. It's gonna be a rough night. It's gonna be a rough night. I'm just warning you all from jump. As you saw, the thumbnail and the link got created 10 minutes ago. But look at all the people here already and chatting away as well. God, I love you all. What I was saying is, hello, Queens, and welcome to Wednesday night's Revenge Reading. And my goal is, after this, to go create the rest of the links for the rest of the chapters, because we are now 2/3 of the way through the book. And you know what? Maybe even more than that, because the back has quite an appendix. Like that entire section there, that's all the appendix and all the references to where he got all his information from. So we only have this much more to read, and then we're done. We're doing 3 chapters today, and that's just because we always do about 20 pages. So that's kind of how it all, except for last week, or was it last week or the week before, where we did 34 pages, but that was just all one chapter. All right, so I'm here with my wine. Cheers to you all. It is chilled this week, and it is so good for people who don't like wine. Blueberry sweet wine from St. James Winery. Screw top. Delicious. I'm so basic. I really don't drink much wine. Okay, at all. Kind of ever. But this, one of the only wines I really like. So we're going to talk about the baby shower today. That's exciting. Let me read the names of the 3 chapters. I just know baby shower is the first one. Okay, we have baby shower, wellness. I don't know what wellness is. And then pitching. Pitching what? Because they were still in the UK at this time. We haven't gone over to the United States. We haven't left. So I know they were pitching, well, they were probably pitching ideas while they were still there before they came back. So maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know, but we're going to find out. Let me see. Oh, Tracy, you have your tear too. How nice. We're twinning. All right. Who else is here? Oh, so many people. So many people. Wendy's here. Hello. And Jane, and Kitty, and Nadine. Oh, let's see. Who else is in the house? Chit-chatting. Everyone telling me my mic was off. I know, I apologize. Wendy, Jane, Tracy, Nicole is here. The nails are yellow. The nails are yellow today. I hadn't done yellow all summer. And I remember last summer when I did them, I'm like, you know what? They go with everything. I thought they'd go with nothing. I have so many colors that I have to limit my wardrobe when I paint my nails those colors. But yellow goes with blue. Yellow goes with pink. Yellow goes with everything. It goes with black. It goes with, all right. No, she didn't take it all. There was one bottle left. One bottle left. I ripped off the tag on the back that had her name on it from the wedding when they had them all labeled with the names. I got the last one. I was a little disappointed last time when I drank it. And it wasn't chilled. That was my fault. And it's chilled today. Oh, it's really good. Kitty says I need rum. Liz is here. Hi, Liz. All right. All right. All right. Okay. We're going to start with baby shower. Jumping right in. I don't want to take too much of your time. Baby shower. Here we go. 7.5 months pregnant. Meghan wanted a traditional baby shower. Of course she did. What Meghan wants, Meghan gets. With a few friends in London, she would celebrate in America. Oh, wait, not even with a few friends. With few friends. I apologize. I made the sentence sound better than it really was. I made her sound better. With few friends in London, she would celebrate in America. In the 32nd week, can I just say, she is now royalty. She could afford to put her friends on a plane and bring them to a castle. I mean, could you imagine? 100% if I were her in her shoes, I would take all my friends and family and put them all on a plane and bring them over and we would celebrate together. And then we would do a tour of London and we'd go in a double-decker bus. We'd take a photo in one of the phone booths. We would tour the castle. We would walk the grounds. We would do it all. And I would see if we could maybe stumble upon some family members. I know they're weird about that, but I mean, come on. Well, I would invite the queen to the baby shower because you always invite the other side of the family too. Oh, could you imagine your family meeting Princess Catherine? And no, that's not what she did. It would be so fun, like just fun. Make it like a pajama party and have the queen wear pajamas too. Wouldn't it be a hoot? Like big fluffy bunny slippers on her. That'd be adorable. Okay. Not happening. With few friends in London, she would celebrate in America. In the 32nd week of her pregnancy, she could safely fly to New York for a party. There she could plot her destiny. Oh. Her suicidal depression seemed Oof, wait for this last sentence of the paragraph. Her suicidal depression seemed to have disappeared. Mm. Gosh, like more proof that it wasn't true. More proof that it wasn't true. Okay, sickening. Meghan would claim the party was organized and hosted by a university friend for 15 close friends. The version in New York was different, however. After conversations with Oprah Winfrey and others, it was said that Meghan asked Serena Williams' publicists, Jill Smolier, Kelly Bush Novak, and Celine Caravani, to arrange the party. Instead of her friends throwing her a baby shower, she asked the publicist of someone she barely knows to arrange a party, a famous party. It's sickening. It's embarrassing. It's not even sickening. I take that back. I'm embarrassed for her in this moment. So embarrassed that she thinks this is a good idea and that people are going to look at her and go, oh, look at her. Serena Williams threw her a party. Mm-mm. I was confused by it. I'm like, where are her friends, though? Like, your friends, not the famous people that you just met. Like, okay. The result bore no resemblance to a traditional shower party to anticipate a child's birth. Rather, it was a launch pad for a group of friends set on financially exploiting Meghan's status. The Toronto friends that were invited were Jess Mulroney, 2 actresses, plus Meghan's hairstylist, Daniel Martin, and Sergey Normant, the fitness trainer, Taryn Tomey. The more important guests were the NBC executive, Bonnie Hammer, and Oprah Winfrey's close friend, Gayle King, an ambitious CBS TV journalist, plus Amal Clooney. I can't even take it seriously. Naturally, Meghan's confidant, Misha Nonu, was invited. Nonu had already exploited their friendship by advertising another of her products, the Saturday skirt, with the tag, quote, recently worn by Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex. Mm-hmm. What is so interesting, his take is that everybody at this party was there to mooch off of her popularity, because at the time she was really popular. You know, she had just gotten married, she's pregnant, like she was still kind of at the height. I mean, there were rumblings of weirdness from her, but still it wasn't nothing like what's going on now. Okay. With Meghan's blessing, and it couldn't have been that great though, because I remember hearing about it and seeing pictures on TV and just being confused and going, oh, what a waste. What a waste. And I believe she flew there in a private jet too. So again, the conservationist environmentalist flew in a private jet. Okay. With Meghan's blessing, the other invitees intended to do the same. Oh, with Meghan's blessing. Oh, she's like, oh, by the way, feel free to post about this and me wherever you want. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Celine, a publicist, would use the event to promote her clients' fashions. Jess Mulroney hoped to capitalize on their friendship to get an enhanced TV contract. And Serena Williams, who funded the party, would re-advertise her brand, citing Meghan's name. I wonder if she still does. The guest list was Meghan's latest shot at launching her own celebrity in America. Hello with my real friends. On the 15th of February, Meghan arrived in New York for 5 days. She headed for The Mark, promoted as New York City's most boldly lavish hotel. Her suite's daily rate was £15,000. Good Lord. The Mark was one of the city's few luxury hotels that could guarantee full frontal publicity for every arrival. A side door was practically unusable. This is where you went when you wanted to be seen. Mhm. Meghan's dinner on the first night was with Marcus Anderson, Jess Mulroney, Serena Williams, and Gayle King. How did she even know Gayle King? Did we read that? Because Oprah and Gayle were invited to the wedding, so I imagine there was a get together. Why were they invited to the wedding? When did she really meet Gayle King and Oprah? Oprah may have taken Gayle as her plus one, but even her mother didn't take a plus one. Confusing. Okay. Meghan found it therapeutic to be among friends sharing her values in her own country. King was naturally fascinated to hear Meghan's complaints about life in Kensington Palace. Her misery, she described, was akin to survival behind a prison wall. Poor baby. So hard to be a duchess. While listing her grievances, just as she had to her 5 friends quoted by People magazine, 5 friends who were not invited to her baby shower. Just point that out. Meghan's sincere loyalty towards the royal family appeared to be slender. Meghan did not pretend to be modest. Having experienced the tough times, she loved extravagance. She had no intention of following the Queen's notable frugality. Frugality. Nor could she. She didn't intend to, and she couldn't. It's against her nature. Like those who financed the baby shower, she was determined to get her money's worth. Journalists and photographers, briefed by the organizers, were crammed behind specially erected crash barriers outside the hotel. They created the place for them to hide to take the pictures. Wearing an unmissable red jumpsuit and big sunglasses, Amal Clooney clearly wanted to be photographed walking to the hotel door, possibly to show solidarity with Meghan. Some guests carried large gift bags. A harp was slowly wheeled in. A trolley of away suitcases followed. Everyone headed towards the £15,000 a night penthouse suite of 5 bedrooms and 2 bars. Meghan's guests knew from photos already posted on Instagram that Darcy Miller, the party planner, had prepared a vast excess of food, including 4 macaroon towers from Laudre, a Parisian bakery, offering the elegance of Marie Antoinette. Designer biscuits, cakes, mini meringue pies on gold-rimmed plates, and an enormous display of flowers. I mean, like every American baby shower, right? I mean, we do balloon arches now, and that's going over the top because it never was even like that. It was like, come over, there's food in the kitchen, help yourself. A little crudité, cheese bladder, and there's probably casseroles. Scoop it out of the crock pot, help yourself, comfort food. That's what it was. You played games like, how many inches do you think their belly is? And then you measure. Okay. Less than 2 hours later, the guests departed. That's all that for less than 2 hours. Flying private, the expense, this girl's, Each guest had been promised the home delivery of an away suitcase. Certain she would be photographed again, Amal Clooney stepped into her car in front of the hotel. Meghan left the hotel wearing a baseball hat and clothes promoted by Celine Cavaharni. Okay. Don't know who that designer is. Obviously, it's out of my price range because I've never even heard of her. The only Celine I know there's a designer purse called Celine. I couldn't identify one, but I think it's the kind that has the brand labeled on the outside, so you would know if you saw a Celine purse. I think. I don't even know. I got that from like reality TV. I don't personally know. Okay. The following day, Misha Nonu appeared on NBC's Today program to discuss her friend Meghan's passion for her fashion designs. With lightning speed, Meghan's makeup artist Daniel Martin posted pictures of the food, rattles, and bibs, and his salon's address. Abigail Spencer promoted her new show called Rectify. Janina Gavnikar, I don't even know who these people are, blessed the publicity generated by the baby shower to be cast in a new acting role. Okay. Gayle King, after appearing on CBS to plug her intimacy with Meghan during the shower party, successfully lobbied for a new lucrative contract. King's promotion owed much to Oprah Winfrey. Yeah. Both of us, said Oprah about King, grew up as Black girls striving to do better in our lives. She, referring to Gayle King, is the mother I never had, the sister everybody would want. She is the friend everyone deserves. I don't know a better person. Okay, well, I agree with that. I know those two are besties. So I don't know what that really has to do with Meghan, though. That's really good. The following day, Meghan flew back to London on Amal Clooney's private jet. Soon after landing in Britain, her critics launched a ferocious onslaught. How could a self-professed philanthropist, they demanded, indulge in a junket estimated to have cost £325,000? Good question. Because she's a self-proclaimed philanthropist. That's it. Not a philanthropist at heart. And I'm surprised by Amal Clooney in all of this. I really thought that she was a philanthropist and that she wasn't a person who went after the limelight. Because like Amal and George have disappeared off the face of the earth since they got married. Like I'm just living out their lives with their millions and having a good time. I know they own a home on Lake Como. Oh, I don't even know where that is. Is that Italy or France? Anyway, somewhere in Europe. All right, the following day. So this surprises me. I didn't know this about them all. Anyway, this is the author's take on it because he's claiming she was ostentatious in her attire and made a point to be seen coming and going. Maybe she just likes red. I don't know. Or maybe he's right. The following day, Meghan flew back to London on Amal Clooney's private jet. Okay. Soon afterwards, blah, 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 325 pounds. Her defenders retorted that the critics were racist. Of course. Can't say anything against her without being called a racist. Ridiculous. I'm sure the comments are full of me being called racist. That I don't read them, though, in this. I don't have time. I got to catch up on my sister wives' comments. That's not true. I read comments from one. Everyone was really nice, so I take that back. No, one person was not happy, but I left the comment there. But I wasn't called a racist anyway, so that was nice. A more convincing reply might have been that Prince Charles sought out hospitality from shady donors on private yachts, jets, and holiday islands. Oh, more. Okay, so like the critic should have come back and pointed out what Prince Charles is doing, and that he's as big a hypocrite. So it's okay. So, I mean, he's a hypocrite. So why can't I? 2 days after returning to London, Meghan and Harry flew on a standard British Airlines flight for an official 2-day visit to Morocco. Meghan performed perfectly in public, but in private continued to rage about the media's criticism of her trip to New York. In her state, she needed extra protection provided by private jets. In her state. Later, she would claim that the media criticism had been dishonest. during the 8 months of pregnancy in 2019, she said, quote, "I wasn't even visible. I was on maternity leave or with a baby," end quote. She would forget about her trips to New York and Morocco. The New York trip appears to have settled Meghan's fate. Contemptuous of the palace and of their staff, she decisively set out to fashion her own career regardless of the monarchy. Once again, she took the initiative and worked in secret. Inspired by her Los Angeles publicists, she had emailed British Vogue magazine's new editor, Edward Edenfield. The 41-year-old had worked in magazines since he was 17. His dramatic appointment as editor confirmed his skills. Without introduction, Meghan asked Edenfield whether Vogue could promote SmartWorks, a British charity that she had joined in January. The charity trained disadvantaged women for job interviews and provided suitable clothes. Sounds like a good charity. Intrigued by the approach, Edenfield headed to Kensington Palace to meet a woman equally ambitious and hungry for publicity. I've met my match. SmartWorks was not the only reason for approaching Edenfield. Of course, she's not doing this because she cares about SmartWorks. What's in it for her? Let's read. NFL had developed a narrative about his ambition to be a positive force for change. As the son of immigrant Ghanaians, his passion was to promote Black women to embrace similar ambitions to white women. What followed during their conversation is inevitably disputed. Oh. Meghan claimed that after consulting her 2 dogs nestled across me, she suggested to Edenfield that she guest edit Vogue's next issue. The editor's staff ridiculed the notion. Of course they did. She's not an editor. Edenfield, rather than Meghan, they insist, decided that the Duchess would be a perfect money-making vehicle for the magazine. In his version, Edenfield suggested that Meghan guest edit the critically important September issue. She would be the first guest editor at British Vogue. Of course, nobody else had the balls and the nerve to ask to do such a thing, but she did. All right. She would be the first guest editor of British Vogue, a magazine renowned as fashion elite's Bible. The woman who rarely stepped out of Kensington Palace in clothes costing less than £5,000 and high-heeled Manolo Blancs. That's how it's pronounced, right? Manolo Blancs. I've never seen it in print before, so it's throwing me off. Because I've never been in a store where I would see the name. Again, I just hear about it on reality TV. High-heeled Manolo Blancs to elevate her 5'5" to 5'10" saw no reason to inform the palace officials about her decision. Edenfield classed the project top secret. With unprecedented disguise, Edenfield assigned one team to produce the normal September issue, unaware that it would never be published. Bum, bum, bum. In parallel, Edenfield and a team of 13 produced a special issue. The focus would be on 15 women nominated by Meghan as her heroes or forces of change. Meghan's not even a force of change. Who would listen to who she thinks she believes is a force of change? Oh, lordy, lordy. All right, right, kitty. The nerve. Right, all about the money. Wow, they bring their products and use the media to capitalize, selling more product to an... Yeah, she wasn't doing that for free. Always an angle. That's right. Always an angle. Meghan needs to stop reading comments. You're right. Attorney leave from what? It's a good one. Oh, thank you, Lady Bird. It's good to be home. It's good to be home. It's still a little bit of a whirlwind because we did a lot of meeting with realtors and driving all around. So work was sort of on the back burner. I met with my kids in speech therapy, and I did this live stream last Wednesday and then the live one Sunday night. And then other than that, I've been in meetings and doing all makeup stuff. So I'm way behind. I have like 5 videos in the can that I have to edit and get out to you guys. So it's my plan tomorrow, but now I have a hair appointment. Not now. I always did, but I have a hair appointment. It doesn't even really look like I need it. I need colored anymore, but I make it every 4 weeks because if I go 5, sometimes it's bad. All right. You don't need to know all that. Chapter 28, we're on wellness. All right. Yeah, Renee. I was thinking I was getting sister wives and I got Megan. What's worse, Robin or Megan? I don't know. There's a good poll. Wellness, chapter 28. On March 2019, Harry crossed a boundary. Wellness became his new religion. In the reinvention of himself, he adopted Meghan's passion for organic products and treatments based on holistic meditation, numbers, gongs, crystal bowls, intercom, chakra balancing, and special massages of the body and the inner mouth. The man who once reeked of tobacco, not least after smoking marijuana, also stopped drinking alcohol. There's another poll. Do we think that he started again? I say yes. During a short stay at Heckfeld Palace Hotel in Hampshire, he used the spa's specialities, including a breathing workshop, a yoga studio, and various natural treatments. Prince Charles would have approved. As an advocate for alternative medicine, Charles has urged the NHS to offer coffee enemas as a cure for cancer. This is not landing well right now, right? Harry's conversion to, quote, full blast Markle has taken him further. He has become, wrote Jan Moore, an empty royal cipher into which Meghan has poured all her fresh-pressed dream whatever jabber, and he has swallowed it hook, line, and sinker, end quote. Whew. Accordingly, he spoke, quote, the kind of pseudo-profundo new age blather that goes down a storm in Malibu juice bars, end quote. All right, basically nobody likes his holistic new life. The new Harry presented himself to 12,000 school children and students at Wembley Arena on the 6th of March for WE Day. I don't know what that is. It's capital W, capital E. I'll tell you what it is. A celebration of young volunteers seeking to influence their communities and the world. Okay. The prince urged the most engaged generation in history who care about values and doing the right thing to shine the light. They should not despair, he said, about, quote, the older generation when it seems that they don't care. That's not true. I care way more than a lot of these young kids, quite frankly. Lies. They don't care, especially about climate change. Every blade of grass, every ray of sun, and every raindrop is crucial to our survival, he told them. Oh, okay. Well, I don't really care about a lot of that, I've got to say. The whole overkill of it all is a little ridiculous. All right. 2 days earlier, Harry had flown in a helicopter to Birmingham. And that's why. It's not that I don't have a heart. It's not that I don't love the creation that God created and I want to preserve it and have it be as fresh of air as you could possibly have and beautiful green grass. I love greenery everywhere. I love it all. But the hypocrisy of the people who are screaming the loudest about how it's not right that you are doing this or you are doing that. Like mm, get over yourself. All right. In his speech, Harry damned social media for distorting the truth and trying to manipulate the power of positive thinking. I love how they twist things. It's great. Harry forgot that Meghan's fame depended on her skill to orchestrate favorable social media. Those contradictions were buried by the audience's loud cheers as Harry dragged Mary, as Harry, Harry and then Meghan makes me always, my brain wants to just merge them together and call him Mary. It's really hard. Loud cheers as Harry dragged Meghan onto the stage. The two were preaching to a progressive-minded change makers. Their banner was be braver, be stronger, be kind to each other, change your thoughts and change the world. Yeah, that's so classic. Be brave, change your thought and change the world. Okay. Never any action steps or bullet points or here's where you signed up to actually volunteer and do something. It's just this words. Their performance hid the contradictions about themselves. Offstage, the prince felt more than ever unfulfilled. Living in Frogmore, he was struggling through another bout of darkness. Still angry with his brother for refusing to support wholeheartedly his campaign against the media or voice sympathy with his New Age politics, Harry felt sidelined. Palace officials were investing new energy to prepare William to be the future king. No longer in Kensington Palace and feeling physically distanced from Buckingham Palace's officials, Harry became an agent for unrest. In order to reassure Harry, a Buckingham Palace spokesman briefed the media that Charles had forged a new relationship with his two sons. Using the excuse of a party to celebrate Charles's 50th anniversary as the Prince of Wales, the palace described Charles as always close to Harry. And now, thanks to Charles's excellent relationship with Meghan, they were bound even closer. In reality, Harry had become an unpredictable contrarian. As a patron of expeditions, it doesn't matter. As a patron of expeditions for the Walking with the Wounded charity for former members of the military, Harry was eagerly welcomed at their annual meeting. Okay. On arrival, he was asked to show particular attention to Hans R. Rosling, a Swedish billionaire philanthropist who is expected to donate a six-figure check to the charity. Instead, Harry launched into a tirade about businesses' failure to limit climate change. Rousing, nevertheless, did give his donation. Insiders marked Harry down as disruptive. He's so ungrateful. He can't even hold it together without spewing out what Meghan tells him to say in front of somebody who is willing to donate to a charity that he apparently cares much for, I would think. Or should. In Kensington Palace, Amy Pickerel, Meghan's new assistant private secretary, followed Samantha Cohen and resigned after just 1 year. Like many junior staff, after her experience in Australia and Fiji, she found working for Meghan stressful. So there was Samantha Cohen and then there was Amy Pickerel, and they both quit. Has Meghan even been there for 2 years yet? No, I think Samantha Cohen quit pretty early on. And then Amy Pickerel just after a year quit. Okay. In the effort to negotiate an amicable solution, the Queen recruited Lord Geit to help embed Meghan into the royal family. We need help, bring in the forces. She's a wild one. Acknowledging Meghan's description of herself as a leader to drive positive social change, Geit organized her appointment as the first vice president of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, responsible for education. While doubting whether that position alone could resolve the antagonism between the Sussexes and the palaces, Geit loyally discussed the option of settling the family in southern Africa, frequently described by Harry as his second home. See, this is where it all goes awry, because there could be no more perfect solution. She gets out of England. She gets out of the rain and the dreariness. She goes to South Africa. She's very, really pushing forth her Black heritage at this point after spending all this time going, nobody ever recognized, nobody ever knew I was even Black. We never talked about it. I didn't identify that way. But now she's pushing it really hard. But that's great because South Africa is, South Africa is not like it's really Black in South Africa, but as opposed to other parts of Africa. But still, just going to Africa, even though South Africa is the part that's part of the Commonwealth, would be an opportunity for, well, it's half and half, right? Isn't it half and half in South Africa? Now, see, I don't know. This is me talking off the top of my head. I'm not 100% sure. But I would think that making amends in that country, getting the rest of the Commonwealth to buy in to the royal family, because I know that there's a lot of animosity between it, because I feel like they can't identify with the royal family. Like, this is perfect. And Harry loves it there because Diana loved it there. And he grew up going there a lot. He loves that country. I don't know. Wendy said, isn't South Africa mainly white? At first, that was my original gut instinct, but I'm thinking it's half and half. The whole Nelson Mandela thing, that was all South Africa, right? Wasn't it about 50% at the time? Or maybe not. Maybe not. I'm so embarrassed that I don't know my history that well. Okay. So this was her solution. You guys are unhappy here. Meghan's miserable. Go live in the country that makes you both happy. Representing the royal family. Perfect. All right. That option had become highly problematic. Few could believe that Meghan would want to live in Africa. More insiders were speculating that she intended to return to California. Their suspicions were sparked by her plan to resume her role as an influencer. I know there's philanthropy, but what I really want to do in life is be an influencer and get lots of likes and followers. I.e., I get all the money. I don't want to do work to raise money for other people. What's that all about? Who would do such a thing? Philanthropists, Meghan. Meghan's ambition was to re-engage with her former followers and connect with millions of activists on Instagram. The @SussexRoyal site would be her platform to respond to critics faster and independently of the palace. Oh, she can snap back if she wants to. She could call her own shots, explained her spokesman. The Sussexes' celebrity guaranteed attention. Choosing Instagram as the social media platform for the official website of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex was contentious. Instagram in particular was criticized for fueling anxiety, depression, and addiction, especially among young girls. Oh, well, there's that. I never even thought of that angle. The new website was designed by Ryan Sachs and David Watkins, alias Digital Dave, as head of article, the creative agency based in Toronto that had established the TIG. Oh, she's going back to her old people. Just like for her baby shower, she had all her paid staff there. 2 hairdressers and a stylist. There were less than 10 people, 2 hairdressers and a stylist on the payroll included in it. Okay. Where am I? I'm sorry. SussexRoyal.com and SussexOfficial.uk were registered using servers in Arizona. Simultaneously, Meghan's long-term Los Angeles business advisor, Andrew Meyer, registered 2 websites, American Friends of SussexRoyal.com and the American Friend of SussexRoyal.com. Later in the year, he also registered the TIG. She never registered the TIG? To recruit new followers to her platform, Meghan featured in London as a thought leader on a panel to celebrate International Women's Day in early March of 2019. Asked in public about social media descriptions of herself as woke, she replied, "I don't read anything. It's much safer that way." She also denied reading Twitter. Quote, "I'm not part of any of that. I don't look at it." She doesn't look at it. Then how does she always comment to it and say, well, people say this, but people say, how do you know if you don't read it? If somebody else reads it and tells you exactly what was said, that's the same as reading it, Meghan, just so you know. Just because your eyes didn't look at the words and read them, if somebody else says, this person said this, it's like an audio book. It still counts. All right. 2 fellow panelists, singer Annie Lennox and Julia Gillard, Australia's former prime minister, nodded in approval. Well, yeah, I mean, they think it's a great idea, but I don't think it's true. The 2 panelists also believed Meghan's declaration. All right, the sentence implies everything she said about herself, not looking at it, was false. The 2 panelists also believed Meghan's declaration that her unborn child, even if it were a boy, was already a feminist. It's not. Baby does not know what a feminist is. The baby's movements, she was certain, were the embryonic kicking of feminism. This is the most ridiculous stuff I ever heard. I did not know she said this. Are you joking? Are you absolutely joking? She is off her rocker, 100%. Harry, she added, was a self-proclaimed feminist. It gets better. He had benefited from what she called gender stereotype shifting. I can't even. Feminism, she explained, meant that a man should not feel threatened to have a woman by your side, not behind you. This is why she refused to walk behind him, which is what you're supposed to do in the royal family. Like a half a step behind, you're kind of next to him, but not really. She would be like always holding his hand, because when you hold his hand, you're walking beside, even though that doesn't follow royal protocol, because she's a feminist. She's such a feminist, you see over and over again in clips that she walks in front of him and introduces herself first as he just stands there looking whipped, because he knows better and he knows it's against protocol, but he can't control his wife. By then, many believed that Meghan was leading Harry. The speech coincided with a shift in the Sussexes' plans. Unknown to Guyt, In anticipation of the Sussex's permanent move to America, Meghan's Los Angeles agents were negotiating with Oprah Winfrey. Isn't that great? Nobody in London even knew. And Meghan's agents are negotiating with Oprah Winfrey. Crazy. The broadcaster had pitched to land the first interview if Meghan returned to California. To sweeten the offer, she agreed to produce with Harry a TV documentary series about mental health. Oprah did that. Huh. So that was on regular television, not Netflix? Never saw it. Never even heard it advertised. Don't even know anything about it. Crazy. Okay. Guided by Meghan, Harry had adopted the ideas of Brené Brown, an American psychological researcher. Her book, Dare to Lead, encouraged the famous to abandon their stiff upper lip and display their frailty. If you develop skin so thick that you start to lose the ability to be hurt, Brown wrote, you're at risk of feeling nothing at all. Talking about his mental health, she advocated, would help other men throw off the stigma. The only foolproof strategy I've come up with so far, Brown wrote, is owning your story. Boy, these sound like words that Meghan has just regurgitated, doesn't it? Own your story. I swear she said that. Focuses on being real, said Brown. Harry would do the world a favor by speaking your truth. Using their royal platform, agreed Meghan, would enable grassroots change to create a better society. What is she even talking about? What does she mean? Only prejudiced critics would object to their truth. Oh, yeah. So now you're prejudiced if you disagree with her. That's good. Yep. I swear, yes. I swear I've heard her say those words. She must have read that book and just memorized all the different lines. By the way, hello, Kathy. Good to see you. Okay. Contracted by Apple TV, Harry was paid to tell his personal story under the title Mental Wellness. Oh, okay. So it was on Apple TV. No wonder I never saw it. How many people have Apple TV? I don't know anybody. I don't have any family members. I don't know anybody who has Apple TV. I'm not saying it's bad, but like just another thing to buy. It doesn't have that much. I'm trying to think. Maybe that one show was on Apple TV that I liked. The one where the guy lost his wife and to deal with it. Severance. That's it. Severance. That may have been Apple TV. I think I bought it for a month to watch that. I wonder if season 2's out. I think it is. Anyway, Tracy has Apple TV. All right. See, now I know somebody, Tracy. I know somebody who has Apple TV. Is Severance on Apple TV? Because if it is, I'm getting it for another month at some point when I have time after the holidays. Y'all are the first to know that I bought a condo down in Nashville, Tennessee. Not in Nashville proper. Outside. My daughter's like 20 minutes outside the city, and then I'm 30 minutes outside of her. So not exactly in Nashville. Close enough to go if I want to go to a movie or dinner or a show or something, but far enough out that I could afford it. So I don't know what my life is going to look like, but I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of travel involved. And so I got to get my life together. So thanks, Wendy. I'm excited about it. Basically, because the grandbaby's coming in March. All right. Hopefully it'll be ready by March. The contract said it should be within 30 days of the due date, which was February 15th. And the baby is due March 14th. So 30 days. March 15th is the day after the baby's born. So I hope it's not pushed out 30 days afterwards, but then it could be even longer than that. That's the expected time because they don't know. And sure enough, winter's coming. If there's rain or if there's, I'm like snow or whatever, I'm just praying the weather's going to be good down there until the foundation and the studs and the roof is up. After that, it doesn't matter what the weather's doing. They can work inside. I know it's new construction. I've never had new construction in my life, but in Nashville, it's cheaper than buying. Can you believe that? Because property is so expensive, so you can't. Anyway, it's a long story. Trust me, a whole week of visiting lots and lots of places and finally realizing this is my only option. All right. Sorry, I'm off track. Y'all are the first to know. All right. Okay. Contracted by Apple TV, Harry was paid to tell the personal story under the title of mental wellness. Stepping into that area, Harry knew would irritate his brother. Mental health, a cornerstone of William's work with Kate through the Royal Foundation, was the theme of his imminent BBC TV documentary, A Royal Team Talk, Tackling Mental Health. Even more inflammatory was Harry's agreement with Apple to describe intimately his relationship with his family. Man, this kid knows how to put a wedge between himself and his family, doesn't he? I mean, honest to goodness. Harry was beyond caring about William's and Kate's sensitivity. The details of the two families' divorce were nearly finalized. The Royal Foundation would be continued by the Cambridges. The Sussexes would create their own charity. Dissatisfied with Jason Knopf and his assistant Christian Jones, the Sussexes appointed a new press officer, Sarah Latham, recruited from Freud's PR. The American-born Latham had previously worked for Tony Blair, the Clintons, and the Obamas. It's a good resume. Few watching Kate and Meghan warmly kiss at Westminster Abbey for the Commonwealth Day service would have realized that a major drama was about to be played out. On the 14th of March, Buckingham Palace announced that the Fab Four era was over. The Sussexes and Cambridges households were to split. The palace's official spokesman denied that the divorce was evidence of a rift. 3 weeks later, at Sussex Royal was launched on Instagram. Brand Sussex promised to publish important announcements and shine a light on key issues direct to the followers. Has that happened? I don't know. I should look up these because I just look at Meghan's and all it is pictures of herself, glamour shots of herself. That's all she posts. She loves herself. Within 6 hours, the site had attracted 1 million people. That would rise within 1 year to nearly 5 million worldwide. The Cambridges had 7.4 million followers. David Beckham had 55 million, and Kim Kardashian attracted 156 million admirers. All right. So they had 5 million, Cambridge's had 7.4, David Beckham had 55, Kim Kardashian had 156. I guess he's just trying to show that they didn't do so well. The Sussexes' Instagram account announced Harry's dynamic multi-part documentary series with Oprah Winfrey on mental health. So it's on Apple TV, but with Oprah Winfrey? Is that what it is? She didn't do it on CBS like she did the other one? That must be what the connection is with Oprah. The truth was now out. Meghan had committed herself and Harry to Oprah Winfrey. The Californian TV star had good reason to believe she was finally in control. You know, if she is in control, that just goes to show you she should never be in control of anything because it's gone horribly wrong. They stole the Instagram handle from somebody who already had it. Okay, that's classic. All right. Instagram changed the handle of the person that had it. Oh, that's nice. Hi, Patty. Welcome. Always fashionable if you're early or late. I am not moving, Tracy. I am not moving. It's a second home that will be an investment property to rent out when we're not there, but it's my way of being able to visit my grandbaby whenever I want without having to impose on always using the spare bedroom in my daughter's house. Although they're so gracious every time I'm there, but I just like if I want to go and stay for a month or two, my work is 90% remote. I only have to have, oh, 8 weeks out of the year for work that I really have to be here at home in Ohio. So I can, although it's not like I'm going to spend the majority of the time down there, but like I just wanted that option. And then it's going to give us, hopefully, to cover the mortgage when we're not there. We'll have more long term rentals like traveling nurses, that type of thing. Like contractors that are in the area because they're building a new Whataburger or something. And so they have to be someplace for a month or two. That's the idea, is to do like a midterm rentals, not long term, because I don't want anyone in there for 6 months. Because I don't want to go 6 months without seeing my grandbaby. But like 1 to 3 month rentals. That's the plan. We'll see how it works out. A little nervous, I'll be honest. Oh, she sure loves herself. Yes, she does. All right. Oh, because right now once the baby comes, they kind of won't have one. But you're right. You're right. And the truth is, there probably will be times. There will be times I'll want to come down there for whatever reason, and it'll be rented. My place will be rented. And so then I'll just stay with them. But they're right now trying to figure out how to reconfigure their house because her husband works from home 2 days a week. So he has an office. So does the office just go in this extra bonus room area? And will that work? Can he focus and work from that area? Or, do they give up the other bedroom? Because right now there is just one extra bedroom, but eventually it'll be the baby's. And then this way, when the baby comes and everybody's coming to visit and all that, we don't have to worry about everyone sleeping on couches or floors or whatever. I'll have a home to stay in. Other people from out of town, because both of their families live in other states. Everyone lives away. We can all be there at the same time, and we're always like there have been times I was going to go down and they're like, oh, her husband's father was coming because he was going on a work trip or something. So he was going to be there for this. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll come another weekend or something. So like now I can just go down whenever. And then I can visit with his family members when they're there. So that's the plan. We'll see how it all works out. And if people don't start renting the place, we're going to be live streaming every night of the week. Try to pay for it. Oh, right when Sister Wives is going off the air. My life. All right, we are now reading the final chapter. This is chapter 19. It's called Pitching. The exclusivity demanded by Oprah Winfrey watched Meghan's and Harry's mood for retaliation against the royal family, the media, and the British public. To build up Meghan's profile in America, Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King had an exclusive agreement with Meghan to produce a glowing CBS TV documentary about her first year of marriage. It would be transmitted at peak time soon after the birth of her baby. But it was recorded before, right? She was pregnant in the thing. So they just aired it afterwards? Is that what it was? They recorded it before but aired it after? Okay. In exchange, Meghan guaranteed that no other TV network would get access to her or the child. But the child wasn't on it. Maybe they changed it. Anyway, the strategy... Sometimes I just want to go. I can hear you all going, Jenny, just keep reading. The answer's probably coming up. The strategy, kept tightly secret, was fully supported by Sunshine Sachs. The American agreement came under the headline labeled privacy. Harry agreed that Buckingham Palace be given no choice. CBS would be given the exclusive rights to film the Queen being introduced to baby Archie. The birth and the aftermath would signal the Sussexes' break from the palace. Interesting. They agreed. They agreed to do this one-on-one. They cared so much about the popularity that they would get from this that they made it an exclusive. They agreed nobody else would have access to them or the baby before it was born at all. And that CBS got exclusive rights to film the Queen being introduced to baby Archie, and they gave the palace no choice in the matter. It was only CBS that got to do it. Oprah and Gayle made out in this deal big time. How much did they receive? My goodness. In mid-April, Sarah Latham, their new spokesman, announced that the Sussexes would keep the plans around the arrival of their baby private. Not only would the hospital be kept secret, but even the identity of the godparents would remain undisclosed. On cue, Oprah Winfrey supported the Sussexes' unprecedented decisions. Of course she did. Meghan, she's going to get the exclusive rights to the interview. Meghan, she pronounced, would start her family, quote, in a different way than it has been done for more than thousands of years, end quote. That was true. Yeah, but this is what nobody's getting in terms of Oprah and everybody that's buying into this Meghan, I'm doing it my way mantra. That's what the intrigue and appeal of the royal family is the can you hear that? That's outside the door. I don't know if you can hear my cat. Hold on. Okay. Be a good boy, okay, Chubbs? Okay. Be a good boy. No eating the plant. Yeah, no eating the plant. Okay, it's getting close to 9. It's only 8:11. You're early. You're early on your begging for food. All right. So as I was saying, the lure and appeal of the royal family, at least to those of us over, well, I guess I speak for myself, but is the tradition, is the pomp and circumstance. They were all just regular people that everybody just gave money to, and they just had names, special titles. No, thank you. I'll keep my money. Like, I think you kind of like, and who wants to go visit that or see that? Like, there's no lure from other people in other countries to come visit the palace and see them in the pomp and circumstance of everything that goes along with it. It's over the top. It's crazy. I agree. I'm kind of happy that I'm not living in the country that's given the money to it. But if the country is getting back money, I don't know, unless the money's coming back to me. I don't know if I agree with that either. But nevertheless, as an American, I think it's great to look at all of it from afar, and I'm fascinated by all the tradition of it all. So if they go down this road, who cares? Kind of like Harry and Meghan in America. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If she were still over there in England and they were part of the royal family, she would have it all. She would be so popular. I mean, if she kept her mouth shut because of who she is, I don't know if she would be, but if she could be a Catherine and just play the part and smile, she'd have been loved and adored. Blew it. By tradition, royal births were always a cause for national celebration. And also, the publicity accompanying royal births had always been essential to establish the newborn's legitimacy. Inevitably, the Sussexes' decision reignited controversy. Some were sympathetic to the Sussexes' self-protection from the hazards of fame. Others were perplexed how privacy matched the Sussex's agenda of modernizing and serving other people. Mm. Few understood the Sussex's definition of privacy. For the couple, privacy did not mean remaining secret and unseen. Rather, it meant enforcing total control over their images and the accompanying narrative. If that strategy upset the palace and tore up the royal rule book, that was a bonus. Meghan's original plan was to have a home birth, helped by her mother. For a 37-year-old, there was an element of risk in that. Once her baby was overdue, the plan was ditched. On the 5th of May, Meghan was driven at speed from Frogmore to the Portland Hospital, a private clinic in central London. At 5:26 a.m. on the 6th of May, Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor was born. The deception started immediately. At 2 p.m., just over 8 hours after Archie was born, Buckingham Palace announced that Meghan had gone into labor. Odd. 20 minutes later at 2:20, his birth was announced on the Sussex Instagram site. She had the easiest pregnancy and delivery in the world. 20 minutes, boom, at the hospital, baby born. Realizing they had been fooled, Buckingham Palace officials caught up a few minutes later with a formal announcement. Quote, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex, was safely delivered of a son at 0526 hours. The baby weighs 7 pounds 3 ounces. The Duke of Sussex was present for the birth, end quote. By then, the Sussexes and baby were back at Frogmore. Meghan was in total control. So at 2:20 p.m., Buckingham Palace made the announcement she is in labor. 20 minutes later, they said she had given birth. And then later gave the announcement that at 5:26 in the morning, the baby was born. Torn between Meghan's strategy and sharing her own happiness, Harry could not resist appearing for the media in the early afternoon. Standing in the Queen's stables at Windsor Castle, the casually dressed prince trilled, I'm very excited to announce that Meghan and myself had a baby boy earlier this morning. A very healthy boy. Mother and baby are doing incredibly well. It's been the most amazing experience I could have ever possibly imagined. How any woman does what they do is beyond comprehension. I haven't been at many births. This is definitely my first. It was amazing, absolutely incredible. So we just wanted to share this with everybody. Can I just say, I don't like it when men say that they had a baby. Your wife had the baby. You created the baby. It is your baby. You could say, we now have a baby. But my wife was the one in labor. Do you know if men gave birth? Never would it ever be acceptable for a woman to say that I gave birth. We gave birth. Never. It would never happen. But because women do it and they go through the hard labor, somehow men feel like they have the right to say, we gave birth to a baby. No, you collectively did not. She did it. She did all the work. You watched and said, breathe. That's it. All right. Sorry. I'll get off my pedestal. The Sussexes then made, through their spokeswoman, an important announcement. With Harry's agreement, the palace also disclosed that the Sussexes had decided that Archie should not be a prince. Okay, let's get this clear because this is going to come up later. Shortly afterwards, With Harry's agreement, the palace disclosed that the Sussexes had decided that Archie should not be a prince. The couple, said Sarah Latham, their spokesperson, did not want to be bound by the convention or history. Meghan wanted her son to be plain, quote, Mr. Archie, end quote, and not bear the title of a royal. I should highlight this. They wanted to protect Archie's privacy. The Sussexes knew that under British law, Archie would automatically become a prince after the Queen died unless Charles changed the rules. She didn't want him to be a prince. Okay. Regardless of the title, Meghan had been told her family would continue to be fully protected by the Metropolitan Police. Even though you keep cutting us off at every pass, we're still going to support you. This is such a rotten palace, I tell you. On Archie's birth certificate, his mother named herself as Rachel Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. 3 weeks later, the palace lawyers ordered that the certificate be altered to Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. Please take off Meghan's name. Why? Why, when Catherine's name's on hers and Diana's name's on her? Why did they take her name off and just change it with Her Royal Highness? Maybe we'll find out more in this book. Just after the birth, Thomas Woodcock, the Garter at Arms, called to discuss Archie's title. Her son, explained Woodcock, would automatically inherit the title of Lord Dumbarton, since Harry, on marrying Meghan, was made Earl of Dumbarton. That's really funny. Dumbarton. Dumbarton. That's why she didn't want the title, because he'd be called dumb. And that Harry is the Earl of Dumbarton. It's pretty funny. Meghan had also automatically become the Countess of Dumbarton. How come she doesn't put that on her little tea cloths or whatever they're called? Tea towels. Hell no, exclaimed Meghan. No son of mine is going to be called dumb. I called it. I'm telling you, I have not read this book. She refused. So she's like, no titles. Take them away. Dumbarton's pretty funny. For somebody who has never heard of Dumbarton, I'm sure if you grew up hearing the name, it doesn't mean anything, but pretty funny. Pretty funny. No son of mine is going to be called dumb. Hell no. Oh, but Harry is Earl of Dumbarton. Funny. 2 days after Archie's birth, CBS's Gayle King was in Windsor for her first public appearance. BBC and ITV cameras were specifically excluded. I mean, because it's not like he's royal or anything. They want to strip the titles and everything, so you might as well have American people come over and interview. At King's request, Meghan timed the phone call in St. George's Hall in Windsor Castle with the start of CBS's morning show in New York. The photograph released by the palace showed the Queen, Prince Philip, Doria, and the Sussexes sharing at a shawl. I don't know what a shawl is, but it sounds British. Like a viewing, like a meeting of the baby, maybe, kind of thing. Neither CBS nor the single photographer present was allowed to record Archie's face. King was nevertheless delighted. Her reward for securing exclusive access to Meghan and Windsor and for the TV documentary to be shown 10 days later was an enhanced contract fee estimated to have doubled to $11 million. With every precedent broken, the critics of Meghan were forceful. Once again, George Clooney was Meghan's defender. Quote, "People should be a little kinder," he said. "She's a young woman who's just had a baby." Allegedly. Meghan's own explanation to those arrangements to Oprah Winfrey nearly 2 years later was contradictory. First, she said, "We weren't asked to take a picture." That's not true. I remember seeing the video footage of it and them saying, "Can we get a closer shot? Can we see the baby's face in that?" And they kind of just pushed it down a little bit, but not really. Do you remember that? That's lies. That's lies. And what? I mean, does she really want us to believe that nobody in the press asked to get a picture of baby Archie? Come on. That was part of the spin that was really damaging. Yeah, you think? Then she admitted to Oprah that she had banned photos. Ping pong match. Where's the truth? That was, she said, her protest about the palace denying Archie a prince's title and denying him police protection. Quote, "I was very scared of having to offer up our baby, knowing that they weren't going to be kept safe." End quote. Both those explanations she ought to have known were untrue. Forgetting her own announcement that Archie would be a, quote, private citizen without a title, she would tell Oprah, quote, "A child who is not going to be protected and doesn't have a title. How does that make sense?" Oh, gosh. The turmoil continued at Archie's christening in Windsor. Meghan banned the palace's accredited photographer and confirmed that his godparents' names would remain secret. In explanation, she would tell Oprah, quote, "The same people who have been abusing me want me to serve my child on a silver platter." Among those nevertheless identified as godparents were Mark Dreyer, a former equerry, Tiggy Legenberg, Harry's trusted nanny, and Charles Van Straubenzee, an old school friend of Harry's. So nobody on Meghan's side? Huh. And I thought that there was the announcement that Tyler Perry was a godparent, or that was she was going to get him christened again in America. I know she asked Tyler Perry to be a godfather, and he said yes. But then later in an interview, after they had a falling out, he said, "I know she asked me and I agreed, but I don't know anything else of it." Like there was no service or anything. So he's kind of like, "I don't know. I guess I'm not anymore. I don't know." There was never a christening. The media characterized Meghan's demands as possure's petulance. Don't know that word. The tabloids she had hungrily sought until 2017 were now the enemy. Because she has to be a victim, that's why. "She doesn't deserve all this negative press," said Daniel Martin, Meghan's makeup artist. Makeup artist to the rescue. The outrageous transformation of Meghan Markle, the perfect royal, into Duchess Difficult was malicious, he pleaded. "In the years I've worked with her, she's never had a diva fit. Never. Harry and Meghan are very philanthropic." I just say, prove it. Oh, if they're not doing a royal engagement, where's the philanthropy? Well, Harry does some. I'll give it to Harry. Invictus Games. and is it Wounded? It's not Wounded Warrior because that's another organization, but the other thing he does. Okay. Daniel Martin had good reason to be grateful to Meghan. That wedding, he recalled, put me in a whole other stratosphere in social media that I can't understand. Among many new lucrative appointments, Martin had become a brand consultant for Dior. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's what they can get from her. And this is what she calls friends. Capitalizing on the wedding and baby shower. Speaking of friends, there's now rumors online that Jessica Mulroney is going to write a tell-all book. Perfect timing. We'll finish Revenge and move right into it. I hope she does. There's no release date or anything like that. There's just talk of her doing it. So she might be in the process of writing it now, or she could just still be even negotiating a contract, which means it'll be at least a year before it comes out. All right. Capitalizing on the wedding and baby shower had transformed other unknowns into celebrities. By associating her designs with Meghan, Misha Nonu had opened a pop-up fashion boutique in central London and an intimate workshop for group sound healing using crystal bowls. Jess Mulroney, speaking of which, newly dubbed by Harper's Bazaar as the fairy godmother of the Canadian fashion, had finally secured a contract on ABC's Good Morning America. Flaunting her relationship with Meghan, Mulroney modeled new clothes on Instagram alongside her 3 children. Abigail Spencer, an actor from Suits, who was delighted that her friendship with Meghan had increased her Instagram following from 100,000 in 2016 to 500,000. Contrary to some expectations, her NBC TV show Timeless was not axed. Another beneficiary was Taryn Toomey, the fitness trainer. Meghan and Harry had urged their followers to explore Toomey's retreats in Mexico and mistake at 3,600 pounds for 4 nights and buy a peach moonshine necklace for 1,200 pounds. The commercialization plans, especially the transactional relationships orchestrated by the Sussexes, unnerved the palace. Of course, Meghan's collaboration with her Los Angeles advisors and Gayle King convinced officials that the couple were heading beyond their control. The struggle to find a replacement for Samantha Cohen concluded with the selection of Fiona McGilwam, Fiona McGilwam, a Foreign Office diplomat. The high point of McGilwam's 21-year service was as the UK's ambassador in Albania, married to Daniel Korski, an aide to David Cameron. McGilwam had little in common with a Hollywood actress. From the outset, McGilwam discovered that Meghan had no intention of sharing her intentions. Even Sarah Latham had failed, along with Heather Wong and Cara Madden, the Duchess's project manager, to win Meghan's complete trust. She trusts nobody. It sounds like a narcissist, too. Meghan believed she had good reason to be suspicious. All her requests were now being referred to Buckingham Palace, and regularly the Queen's officials directed her staff to prioritize the palace's interests over Meghan's. Oh, God forbid the palace was more important than Meghan's interests. More important, without consultation, a legal constraint had been imposed on Sussex Royal, their foundation. A solicitor, regularly employed by Buckingham Palace, had been asked to create the foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The The couple believed that the lawyer had been tasked to reproduce the royal foundation. Under the law, a foundation is private. The patrons have no legal obligations, and there is no requirement to publish detailed accounts. However, a foundation is complicated to establish and is usually financed before its creation. The couple's foundation was registered as a charity. Ugh. Problems. Leaving the Sussexes' future wide open to the financial scrutiny that goes along with charity regulation. The difference was considerable. Easy to establish and without the need for original money, a charity is obligated to publish detailed accounts and is subject to scrutiny by independent officials employed by the Charity Commission. All the donations the Sussexes expected to receive, especially from America, would be itemized and published, as would the salaries of their staff. As an officer of the charity, Meghan would be subject to fiduciary laws. The charity was incorporated on the 1st of July, 2019. At the first meeting at Kensington Palace, the Sussexes welcomed the foundation's 4 trustees. All were personally unknown to them. They chose 4 trustees. They had no idea who they were. Stephen Martin Cooper was the chief executive of Horace Bank. Kirsty Jackson Jones and Karen Blackett, a British businesswoman, had significant commercial and legal experience. And the chairman, Stefan Alaish Taylor, was a well-known businessman and philanthropist. In a solemn atmosphere, they discussed their objectives for the foundation's success. By the end of the meeting, the Sussexes were shocked. The trustees, they discovered, were neither mates nor servants. They were independents who would have complete control of the charity's money. Under the law, the Sussexes would be denied any privacy over the foundation's management. For Meghan, a master of control, the legal requirement of transparency was unexpected. The foundation's legal structure, she believed, was a deliberate bid to undermine her. Once Meghan discovered that the Sussex Foundation could not operate in secrecy, another reason to stay in Britain had disappeared. Money was critical to her. As Gina Nelthorpe Crown had realized, Meghan was a businesswoman first and foremost. Everything was calculated on commercial terms. Financing her charities and her personal lifestyle were destined to be intertwined. Harry was similarly incensed. Charles had assured him of a major role in the slimmed-down monarchy for at least 10 years. Now the discrepancy of treatment between William and himself confirmed the worst. He also wanted out. Meghan was not disappointed by his decision. Well, because she provoked him to have that thought. It wasn't his own thought. Just face it. I thought she'd stick with it for a few more years before she cracked, Gina Nelthorpe Crown later reflected. Meghan would later admit that she and Harry began the conversation about leaving Britain with the Queen even before their marriage. Quote, "For 2 years," she would say. They hadn't even been married for 2 years. Oh, I didn't know she came out and said that. Did you? Even thinking about leaving before she ever joined. In Harry's recollection, he first mentioned to his grandmother in about January of 2018 that the lack of support and understanding from both the media and his family were encouraging his thoughts about leaving Britain. Even before he married, he was looking to escape. Quote, "I never blindsided my grandmother," he insisted. Harry would confirm that they had also discussed leaving Britain in January of 2019. Around the time that Meghan was suicidal, but his, quote, "family tried to prevent him," end quote. In Harry's version, the conversations about departure continued throughout that year, spurred by Meghan's suicidal feelings. How bad, quote, how bad does it have to get? Harry theoretically asked. Until I'm allowed to do this. The anger fueling their urgency to leave Britain was transmitted to Los Angeles. Nick Collins was told to start looking for acting roles for Meghan. Her business agent, Andrew Meyer, was also asked to look into the possibility of negotiating a mammoth deal similar to the Obamas with Netflix. In parallel, she was encouraged by David Furnish, Elton John's partner, to cooperate on an animation series. That animation series ever come to fruition? I never heard about it if it did. And what about all those acting roles? I haven't seen a one, nor less a big blockbuster. I haven't even seen anything small. Or even in a voiceover in an animation show. Nothing. I mean, she's on South Park. But that's not her voice. Okay. Meghan's veil fell on the 14th of July at the London premiere of Disney's Lion King, Harry's favorite film. In the lineup that evening, she did not hide her desperation. Pharrell Williams, the rapper, told her that he was so happy about their marriage and added, quote, "We cheer you guys on." Touching his arm, Meghan smiled. "Thank you. They don't make it easy." Minutes later, Harry was speaking to Jon Favreau, the film's director. Quote, "If anyone needs any extra voiceover work," he began, only to be interrupted by Meghan. "That's really why we're here," she said. "It's the pitch." Harry praised Meghan's acting abilities. I saw that. There's a video of that interaction. And you can hear him like saying, "So, if you got any work here for the little lady, she's quite the little actress." It never came to fruition either, did it? Now they just look foolish. Foolish. Next, Harry approached Robert. Well, why not go straight to the top? Robert Iger, Disney's chief executive, famous for the quip, quote, "They only root for you in Hollywood when your cancer is terminal," end quote. You do know that she does voiceovers?" the prince asked Iger. "I did not know that," replied the executive. "You seem surprised," said Harry. "She's really interested." "Sure, we'd love to try," said Iger, grasping that the prince was touting for work. "That's a great idea." How come that never happened either? Maybe everybody watched the Netflix series and went, "We're not touching this with a 10-foot pole," or even just the Oprah interview. The Sussexes' successful pitch was only marred by their later realization that all their exchanges had been recorded. Bum, bum, bum. That's how we saw it. Meghan did narrate. Here we go. Meghan did narrate Disney's documentary Elephants Without Borders, the story of a group of elephants at risk from poachers. The reviewers would not be enthusiastic. Quote, "A spectacular of schmaltz, a sugary taste." And, quote, "the right side of annoying," end quote, were among the more favorable comments of the reviews. Shortly after the Lion King premiere, Meghan went to watch Serena Williams playing at Wimbledon. Dozens of professional photographers and TV cameras recorded and broadcast her presence in the royal box. Then an altercation occurred. Meghan ordered her bodyguard to tell a female spectator not to photograph her. She was at Wimbledon, she declared, in her private capacity. That's not, you're No. Wimbledon. It's a pretty public event. It's broadcast all around the world. Oh, Lordy. The next day, Lorraine Kelly wrote, I didn't even know that happened. The next day, Lorraine Kelly wrote in the Sun, quote, either they are private citizens and they pay for their own loft extension, or they are royals and they have to share the big event of their lives with the rest of the world. They really can't have it both ways, end quote. They think they can, though. Few in London, except possibly the Queen and Charles, realized during the summer that Meghan was already detaching herself from the royal family. She was counting the weeks until her return to California. Her spokeswoman said that Meghan would not be taking maternity leave because she wanted to prove herself through her work. Well, she's not working before the baby's born. So, all right. Yet, other than one engagement to promote smart work, she undertook no public work during the summer. But what a gal for not taking maternity leave and not doing the one thing. She's so brave and strong. She watched polo and tennis matches and repeatedly flew in private jets for holiday trips with Harry and Archie. They stayed with Elton John in Saint-Tropez, the Clooneys in Como, and in a friend's 7-bedroom villa advertised at £100,000 per week in Ibiza's Vista Alegre estate. For Meghan, it seemed taking private jets was like ordering an Uber. Inevitably, her critics, especially the Sun newspaper, objected. Quote, the couple want all the pluses and none of the minuses of royal life. They have imploded into an unhappy mess of self-pity and perceived victimhood, utterly disconnected from the much greater stresses ordinary people often endure. End quote. To silence the calls of hypocrisy, Meghan's publicist once again contacted her friends. Okay, now which friends? The fake friends that are celebrities that came to her baby shower, or like the real friends that she had back in California that went running to People magazine for her? Don't know, because it says in here she has no friends really in London. The result was a synchronized chorus of support. Quote, I am calling on the press, said Elton John. Oh, her friend Elton, of course. I am calling on the press, said Elton John, to cease these relentless and untrue assassinations of their character that are spuriously, ooh, it's a new word for me, spuriously crafted on an almost daily basis. Jessica Mulroney posted on Instagram, shame on you, you racist bullies. 3 years of undeserved hate and abuse. It is enough. Oh, so she bought into the racist mantra, did she, Jessica Mulroney? So I don't know how much we want to believe her book. Actually, she was there during all of it, even the wedding, so she knows the truth. She knows the truth about the Kate and Catherine quote-unquote fight and who cried, and yeah. She knows. She was there. She knows where the babies, where the bodies are buried. Blah, blah, blah. Drink more wine, Jenny. Drink more wine. That's good. Good stuff. Okay. Actress Jamila Jamil justified the private jets as protection for the public. Quote, it's not safe for us to be on the same planes. They are prime targets for kidnap and sometimes assassination, end quote. I mean, maybe. I don't know if there's any proof of any of that. I mean, clearly in their heads this is true, but any public figure is. I mean, you could just be the CEO of a company that nobody's ever heard of. I mean, who was the UNH guy got assassinated? I still don't know what his name is, but like, you're not that special. Everybody in public is a target. Harry defied their critics. In early August, he traveled by private jet and helicopter to the Google camp in Sicily to speak about the climate change crisis. His plane was just one of the 114 private jets. Good Lord, 114 private jets flew there for a climate change crisis event. That's great. So good. You can't script it. But here it is in black and white. Oh gosh. As well as a fleet of super yachts that had been ferried billionaires and celebrities to the festival. Free from the constraints of palace etiquette, Harry tasted a movie star's freedom alongside Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Cruise, Orlando Bloom, and singer-songwriter Harry Styles. As royals, both he and Meghan felt entitled to use their status to lecture others. Not just as royals. That's what all celebrities think they can do now. All right. Quote, every choice, Harry wrote at the same time on the Sussex's Instagram page. Every footprint, every action makes a difference. Don't say every footprint makes a difference and every action makes a difference and get all upset if somebody throws a can on a garbage can and you take a private jet to a climate change summit. Like, this is ridiculous. I can't even with this. Sorry, I didn't know about this. Like his hosts, Harry justified his use of private jets to protect the family from these people. The identity of these people and the never-ending threat Harry perceived still remains unclear. So confused. Aw, Michelle, thanks for the super chat. That pops up in bright red on my screen. Appreciate you. Thank you. She could also tell us just about anything and we wouldn't know the difference. She does not have any friends anywhere. And she's either discarded them or when using them, or they've discovered what a phony baloney albatross she is. It's true. Like, who are her friends? Work? This is true, Jody. She's considered a jinx in Hollywood. Everything she touches turns to poop. I mean, everything she touches, with the exception of the first two things they did, which was just bash and shit on the royal family on the Oprah interview and the Netflix thing. Those were both successful. Now that they got all that out, nobody's interested in them or anything they have to say or do. So it appears that Harry is now taking the angle of, well, let me just keep talking poorly about my family because it pays well, without regard for the fact it's the only family he has. And it seems clear that he wants to be back with his family. You know, she doesn't want to be with them, but he does. Somebody wrote, "What's wrong, kitty?" He finally gave up. He's not even in this room anymore. He's probably sleeping right in the hallway out there. They lay right outside the door. So that way they can see if someone's coming up the steps, going in a bedroom, if I'm coming out of here. Like, it's like that central location. All right, this is almost done. We're almost at the very end here. Last couple paragraphs. All right. As royals, both he and Meghan felt entitled to their use of status to lecture others. Every choice. I read this whole paragraph. The identity of these people and the identity of the never-ending threat that he perceives still remains unclear. There was a new arrogance to Harry's preaching. He resented scrutiny of his behavior. Soon after his visit to Sicily, he staged a press conference in Amsterdam to promote his new online eco-travel campaign, Travelist. He was outraged that his audience asked him to justify his use of private jets. In reply, Harry claimed that 99% of his flights were commercial. Annoyed that his answers were scrutinized, Harry was encouraged by a hovering Sunshine Sachs executive to give evasive replies. He only flew private, he protested, to ensure my family is safe. Like, listen, just pick another charity, like feed the hungry. Don't worry about climate change when you have a lifestyle that is what it is. That's what I say. Just embrace it, just accept it, because then you're not a hypocrite. Yes, I fly by private jet everywhere that I go. And I buy expensive clothes, and my wife even more so, and then discards them. So we have no respect for the reduce, reuse, recycle part of life. But we will preach to you that you should. See, this is where the problem comes. This is how dumb they are. There's a million charities in the world that they could support, and they're picking the wrong one. In reality, at least 60% of his flights were private. Oh, more than half. He said 10%. Research shows 60% were private. No one is perfect, he then declared. I plant trees to offset the carbon print. This is exactly what we were saying before. I could fly in a private jet. I use the example of I recycled an aluminum can, but this is just as good. I plant a tree. Therefore, it's okay that I fly private. You know how much? I mean, I heard a stat once. I don't even want to quote it because I don't know, but I'll look it up at some point. The amount of carbon emissions in a private jet versus just a commercial jet, especially when you figure out how many people are on that commercial jet, like when you do the math for it, it is outrageous. Outrageous. I plant trees to offset the carbon print. Just shut up, Harry. Just keep your mouth shut. Make it sound worse. He was pressed to give answers. Quote, where and how many trees? End quote. He was asked. Questions sparked Harry's sense of persecution. Oh, he's a victim now. Don't ask me questions. Oh, poor me. I have such a hard life. Whatever he said, Harry believed was the truth. They were special people requiring protection. Just over 1 year later, Heather Wong, Travelist Executive Director, resigned and was replaced by Sally Davy. I mean, do we have a body count of how many people have resigned from Meghan and Harry in this book? It's insane. I mean, you'd think it would be such a coveted position. The person would be there until they absolutely couldn't do it anymore. Like, oh, I have to take maternity leave and go. Somebody else is taking over my spot. Or, oh, I'm retiring and I have to go. But no, like people are just dropping like flies here. The Cambridges retaliated. The media was summoned to film them flying on a low-budget airline from Norwich to Aberdeen for their summer holiday in Balmoral. Oh, I love it. Not only did they fly commercial, they picked a low-budget airline to do it. You go, Cambridges. In revenge, Meghan promptly announced that her family would not, after all, follow the Cambridges to Balmoral. Archie, she explained, was too young at 3 months to travel by plane to Scotland. Isn't it like right next door? Scotland and England aren't that far away. It's not like you're flying halfway around the world. Instead, she flew Archie to Ibiza. Okay, like I don't think Ibiza's close to London because Ibiza has beautiful weather. So it's got to be closer to the equator. Okay. Well, Scotland is probably closer to the equator too, right? Isn't it kind of southwest? I don't know. I don't know my geography. I don't know my history. Who am I? Just guessing here. Somehow this isn't jiving for me. Okay. So she takes him to Ibiza. Somebody should do the math. Go Google it. How long does it take to fly private from London to Scotland, and then from London to Ibiza. Mm-hmm. All right. Spirit Air. That Joni says, could you see them on Spirit Air paying for everybody and drinks? That'd be funny. Spirit Air would make a ton of money on them flying for sure. Lots of bags. Okay. Instead, they flew with Archie to Ibiza. Later the same week, Meghan flew on a commercial flight to New York to watch Serena Williams play in the final of the US Open. Williams was defeated. Okay, well, that wasn't unnecessary for Tom to put in this. It was a little mean. Williams was defeated. A little dig. Days later, Meghan and Harry flew by private jet to Misha No-New's wedding in Rome. God, where's the baby in all this? Good golly, if my baby is 3 months old, I am not flying all around the world. I want to be spending every minute with that baby. She's a different mom. Everyone's different. No-New's second husband, Mike Hess, was the son of an oil billionaire. Oh, no wonder she's friends with this girl. Just the type Meghan enjoyed meeting and No-New admired. And that's the end. We read about Vogue next week. Vogue. Here's my little game board bookmark. Okay. This is good. It's a good book. Tom, I appreciate the inside knowledge. 2 chapters next week. We have Vogue. I'm pretty sure it was 2. We never have 1 again. That was the only one that was so long. We have Vogue and Attack. Ooh, next week's going to be a good one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more weeks. 8 more weeks. I'm going to create the thumbnails. I'm going to try to do them all tonight. That's my goal so that we don't do this again where I do it at the last minute. My apologies. Tomorrow night, all of you who follow Sister Wives, we are going to do our usual Tuesday night review because I was somewhere on Tuesday night. Oh, my meeting that I said is on Tuesday started yesterday. I didn't realize it until an hour and a half before the meeting because that's when I changed the thumbnail and went to the meeting instead. But I wasn't even in town on Monday to do it. So starting next week, Monday nights will be our review of Sister Wives. And then Wednesdays will be the same. So this Thursday is just sort of an outlier because I wasn't in town Monday and I'm busy on Tuesday nights now. All right. Thanks, Joni. Oh, he has a sequel to this coming? Tom does? Oh, goodness, I'm excited. I didn't know that. And we got to read that. And we got to read Jessica Mulroney's book if she does indeed write one. Oh, it's okay. James was live on Tuesday. Oh, and he normally doesn't do lives on Tuesday. Is that going to be his regular schedule now? Because I think I want to go back to Tuesday's event. Oh, we'll see. No, I probably can't for a long time. So it'll be Mondays for a long time. All right. Very good. This was fun. It's fun with you all. I'm glad you appreciate it along with me. Thank you for being here. And we'll be back next Wednesday. Cheers to all you queens. Until next time.